This Doc and Chef episode is sponsored by Nutcase Vegan, makers of organic certified, whole food, vegan, no oil added, lower sodium meat alternatives from great superfoods like walnuts, whole grains, seeds, and spices. Find them at nutcasevegan.com.
Can I give you a suggestion?
I knew you would talk next. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, many people think rice is just kind of boring. And
That's where I was going with it.
Okay. That's good. Go ahead. Ready?
Jim, a lot of people think that rice doesn't really have very many characteristics at all. They just think that it's this boring food.
Well, rice is actually not boring, and it's actually a very important crop. It's a staple food across the world. It's actually a cereal grain. It's in the grass family, and it was first domesticated in China about 10,000 years ago. And if you look at a whole grain of rice that's just come off the plant, it's got several components. So on the outside, there's a hull or a husk, and that's indigestible, and it has to be removed to make the grain edible. Next is a layer called the bran, and it's kind of a protective covering. It's what makes brown rice brown, full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, protein. Next is the endosperm, and it's the white interior of the rice kernel, and that's where most of the energy is, carbohydrates, but it also has some protein and vitamins and minerals. It's actually what fuels the plant as it's growing roots and making a new rice plant. And then lastly, we have the germ of the rice grain, and that's the embryo of the plant. Probably the most nutritious. It's full of healthy, omega-3 fatty acids. It's also got vitamins and minerals and such as that. And so when we talk about different kinds of rice, you can kind of think about it by varying degrees of processing. That's one way to think about it. So white rice is by far the most common, and white rice has had the husk, the bran, and the germ removed. So all that's left is the endosperm. That's why, like I said earlier, the endosperm is white, so that's why it's white rice. Then it's often polished after that. It's easier to digest. Now it does have what's called glycemic index. So glycemic index is the propensity of a given food to spike your blood sugars, and especially if you're diabetic, you don't really want that to happen. Also, white rice oftentimes has to be enriched because by taking out the bran and taking out the germ, you've taken away most of the nutrition. So just like white bread, which is enriched, it's the exact same thing. And typically what they're enriched with are B vitamins and iron, typically, because that's what you mainly lose. Now, brown rice has just had the husk removed, so it's still got the bran and the germ. It has more protein compared to white rice. It is very rich in nutrients, vitamins and nutrients, very high in fiber. It's actually been shown to lower cholesterol levels. And because it has a lower glycemic index, it's been shown to help control blood sugars. Now, black rice is a particular cultivar rice, and it's also known as forbidden rice. And as you can see, it's this dark black, and it actually turns purple when you cook it. Yeah. Very high in antioxidants. And, we've talked before that in general, the darker or the more color a food has, the higher the antioxidants. And we know that antioxidants help prevent cancer and heart disease and a whole bunch of other health benefits. Also more protein and fiber, again, than the white rice. Now, you'll also see, in the rice section of the store, sometimes wild rice. Now, wild rice is really not it's not in the rice family. It's the seed of an aquatic grass, but it does have health benefits, fiber and protein, such as that.
So even though it's not a real rice, we
treat it like a rice.
Treat it like a rice, yeah. And there are just so many varieties. They're so versatile. Also, we have the short grain, the medium grain, and the long grain rice. And there's also specialty rices and aromatic varieties. For example, we have this basmati rice, and it's a long grain rice. It's actually an aged rice. It's from India and Pakistan, and it's pretty fragrant. It has a really nice aroma, and as you can see, it's light and fluffy in the texture. And then we also, actually similarly, is jasmine rice. It's also a long grain rice. It's from Thailand, and it has a little bit of a more sticky texture. It's sweet, and it has also a nice floral aroma. And it comes in both brown and white rice. And then over here we have arborio rice. Now this is a fun little rice because if you like risotto, then this is the rice for you. It gives that nice creamy texture. It has a pretty high starch content. You can see this is a very, very short little grain. It's pretty cute. Then, if you like to make sushi, we have sushi rice. It's a short grain rice. It's a glutinous rice. We call it sticky rice. It becomes very, very sticky when cooked, so it has a very high starch content. Now today, we're going to be using my favorite rice. As you were saying, Jim, it's this forbidden rice or this black rice. And we're going to be making a deconstructed sushi bowl with this.
Well, that sounds great, and I can't wait to try it.
Oh, it's going to be delicious. I've made it a couple of times before, and people always give it high praise.
Let's go for it.
Let's get cooking. Okay, we've got a nice big bowl of our forbidden or black rice, and I'm going to add some radishes. Now you can use whatever you would like, but this is my way that I like to make it. And then we have edamame. Oh my goodness, probably one of my favorite snacks. I think I've said that so often. Carrots. And you'll notice how beautiful this bowl is about to become. And then cucumbers. And let's not forget our avocado. Scored that a couple times. I'm going to get that in there. And then pull that out with a spoon. It's a great avocado, and we're getting it within its 15 minutes of peak ripeness, right? Put that in there. Nice. Add a nice creamy texture to our bowl. Okay, then let's see. Let's add in our seaweed. And I've just cut this up with some scissors. It's so pretty. Give it that nice sea flavor. It's like sushi, right? And then this in here, this is just 3 ingredients, and it's a little bit of soy sauce, some maple syrup, and rice wine vinegar. Oh, and some ginger. So 4 ingredients, and then whisk it up. Everything nice and coated. This is one of those that, it's a little bit better after it gets to sit in the refrigerator for, I don't know, half hour or so, just so that all the rice and everything can be really well coated and can soak up that nice dressing. But who has that kind of time? I'm hungry. And then this is just sesame seeds. We'll coat that. Now I am ready to eat. Hungry?
Yeah, that looks amazing.
Okay.
And the thing is, like the seaweed, not only is seaweed give it the flavor of the sea, it's also a great source of iodine, something that many people are missing in their diet, especially when when we try to eat healthier, we try to cut back on salt.
Yeah.
Most of the salt today is iodized. We need iodine for our thyroid function, and sometimes when we stop using salt, we have to pay a little bit more closer attention. And seaweed is a great way to get iodine in your diet.
Iodine it up, baby.
All right, there we go.
Now there's some wasabi and some pickled ginger there if you would like that as well.
I'm gonna get just a little.
I know you love that wasabi, that heat.
Horseradish family. Mix that into my bowl. Maybe a little pickled ginger. You want some wasabi?
No, I just want some ginger.
All right. Pickled ginger for you.
Thank you. That's okay. Yeah. May I have a fork?
Oh, yes, you may.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow, look at this.
It's really beautiful.
So pretty. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. I can't wait.
Oh, holy cow.
Told you.
Wow.
Right, so it's really rude to talk with our mouth full.
But that dressing
pulls it all together.
You know what it tastes like? Sushi.
See you next time.
Winner.
See you next time.